And it is our honor, our pleasure. It is not very often that you get a local legend. It is the one, the only, from the Locked On Bulls podcast, amongst other things, including Ball and Ball on Bulls. It is Big Dave Watson. Big Dave, what's up, my man? Thank you for joining us here on the Sports Cubicle and Sports from the Couch.
Oh, man, thanks for having me on here, man. Thanks for hitting me up, asking me to be on here. Yeah, thank you.
It's great, man. Like, obviously, you were kind of part of that first mob of Bulls fans that kind of came back from what was a hard time. You were in the middle of it. You and the boys, you guys were doing some awesome stuff over at NBC Sports Chicago, and you kept doing that. And now it's kind of paying off that we're seeing a fun Bulls team, a competitive Bulls team, a professional Bulls team. So before we get into like the details and whatnot, I mean, what have been your thoughts about watching this version of the Chicago Bulls?
Oh, man, my thoughts are I'm very excited every single game day to watch the Chicago Bulls. Like, it's not sadness in my face when I have to go in and watch the game. You know, I'm very excited to actually tune in. Like, I'm not dreading it. Like, oh, got to watch another 20-point blowout. Got to watch Denzel throw up another air ball. Like, I'm not upset anymore. Like, I'm excited. Like, it's good for me because now I can look at things logically. You know what I mean? I like logic. So now I don't have to play on emotion and hope and wish. Now I can really just have concrete evidence that this is a good basketball team, show you why it's a good basketball team, and watch them go out and prove they're a good basketball team. And it's really fun and exciting to watch.
Was there anything sadder than seeing a marquee franchise like the Chicago Bulls not just be bad? It's one thing when you're bad, when you're trying to get in the right direction, but just being molasses, just spinning their wheels over and over again and trying to sell it to the fan base. And I know we're talking about Jim Boylan and all the other coaches that came by, but more specifically, when Gar Forman really came into the picture and after that initial Baby Bulls run and the Derrick Rose era, your emotions when you kind of saw that Bulls stuff happening, you've talked about it before, but what does it mean to you now when you see the Bulls and the Knicks in a heavyweight matchup going at it and being the talk of the town, Stephen A. Smith with egg on his face because of Zach LaVine? I mean, what does it mean to you, not just as a Bulls fan, but somebody who loves the association, to see Madison Square Garden and the United Center jumping for Bulls and Knicks?
Oh, it means everything. Like Lakers, Bulls, Knicks. And I honestly would throw the Heat in there, Celtics. You know, when those teams are good, the league is good because the Bulls are global. Like, that's the main thing of it. You know, they're a global. It's not. And you mentioned that earlier when you talked about the old regime and how it used to look like. It was run like a mom and pop store. You know what I mean? This is not Sacramento. You know what I mean? This is Chicago. These are the Chicago Bulls. This is Jordan. This is Pippen. You know, this is tradition. This is history. This is Norm Van Leer, Jerry, you know what I'm saying? Jerry Sloan, Red Kerr. Like, this is serious tradition here. And there's a standard here of winning that has been already set. So to see it so inept and so ridiculous and just fumbling and just baffling, it was heartbreaking to watch, honestly. But watching these teams be good again, you know, because the Knicks went through that same kind of thing, you know what I mean? But watching these teams actually be good again, it just feels good because you feel like watching Bulls Knicks should be the Christmas Day matchup. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to watch that on the holidays and enjoy that game. And it's just a good feeling, you know, to watch these teams be good and just get excited about beating the Knicks in Madison Square Garden, knowing Spike Lee and all these celebrities will be there, man. Like, it's a good feeling to watch it happen, man. And I couldn't be more excited.
And it's competitive basketball. Whether they're going to win or lose games, we can critique how they play against teams they're supposed to beat. And this is a team that's going to have to learn to win together. Pieces by themselves, like a DeMar, has learned that. This is Zach's first time really being on a team like this. Vooch had been playing in Orlando. It's not like Orlando was winning championships. A lot of these dudes are finally learning what it means to be in competitive ball. DeMar and Caruso and some of these cats are kind of taking them along the way to do it. And I wonder in your kind of eyes watching this, you see kind of, this has been my mantra around the NBA. Look for what superstars are saying when they're unprovoked. For example, Kevin Durant talking about a Kobe White or the Bulls, or your LeBron kind of on his own, just making little comments. Where is this Bulls team, do you think, in the pecking order when it comes to respect around the NBA? Because while they haven't won anything, there are pieces there that the league has love for. So where are you when it comes to people's mentality of the Chicago Bulls when they have to play them on the court day in and day out?
That's a good question. They can't come to Chicago anymore and go to the club. and then play the game. They can't do that anymore. Like, I remember when Derrick Rose talked about that, how personally he would take that stuff when teams would show up here and go kick it and then try to play a game. He was like, no, I'm about to bust all y'all for doing that. You know what I mean? Like, and that's how it should be. Like, you should be prepared for basketball. It wasn't like that for about a good 4 years. Guys would come in here to kick it, and then they would come in here to beat the Bulls, and then they would leave. It's not like that anymore, man. Like, it's so much fun to just watch them. And you watch you ask what it is like, what's it like from playing around the league and things that they're saying, like, and saying unprovoked. And I think you made a good point, because the first thing I thought of was like DeMar DeRozan and the things he had to say about being here in Chicago and how much he loves it. I'm like, players hear that. Free agents hear that. Not only do they see how much fun it is the Bulls are having and the camaraderie that they have, but when guys like DeMar DeRozan, who is well respected around this league, they're saying, dude, I'm having the time of my life here in Chicago, free agents hear that. And they're going to want to, make the Bulls a destination, which I am not used to, which nobody is used to, the Bulls being a free agent destination. So it makes me excited for the future, because having DeMar say that, knowing that, it's a 3-year deal, so it's not like he's a 10-year player here, but knowing he got here as a free agent and he's saying that already, and you see guys always hugging and high-fiving each other on the court and the joy that they're playing with. Free agents see it, they hear it, and you want to be a part of something. You want your money, of course, but in my opinion, the second thing you want most is comfort. And if you can provide that for a team, along with being a competitive basketball team, man, sky's the limit for you getting any free agent.
And it's great, because one of the toughest things in Chicago sports, as we've kind of gone on into these new decades where we've seen the White Sox win a World Series, the Blackhawks win Stanley Cups, the Cubs have won a World Series, the Sky have their WNBA championship. We just saw the Red Stars go to their championship. There is winning coming in this new era for sports fans. And the toughest championship now, besides the next Super Bowl, is championship number 7, because that's the first championship post Jordan. A lot of pieces are here. The momentum is great. But what you're seeing, Big Dave, is this is a team that's in the right direction. Maybe not there yet. Maybe they're not going to meet the Bucks in the conference finals, but they're in the right direction. That's the first time in a long time we can say that. But if we were playing just general manager, we were in the head of AK and Mark Eversley after they were, it's just punished so hard for that second round draft pick. What are you looking for? Are you looking to invest in youth and try to play long term? Is this something where you're going to look for like a Karl Anthony Towns or an Anthony Edwards, one of these kind of guys that are on a team that are going to have to get paid at some point and are just too big of a fish in what those teams are right now? Where do you think they are? Are we going youth, try to go what Golden State kind of did, or are we going all in the next year or two?
Well, just based off what AK and Mark Eversley have said, they're about winning. And so he said that. He was like, I want to win, and I want to win now. And you watched it happen in free agency. They were like, yeah, they really are trying to win now. So I would say they would err on the side of winning more so than the side of trying to rebuild something. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're really trying to win. Like, it's a real like Pat Riley-esque kind of attitude. You know what I'm saying? Like, Pat Riley every single year is trying to win a championship. And every move they make, they are trying to win a championship. It is rare that they have a year where they're not trying to make that move. But every move they make, they're trying to push forward. They're trying to do those things. And it feels like AK and Mark Eversley are those kind of guys. So when you bring up a Karl Anthony Towns, who I think about often, honestly, when I watch Minnesota, and I'm like, yeah, him and Anthony Edwards ain't gonna play together. Like, that's just not a thing for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't see how that works. And I think he'll be gone. And he likes Zach LaVine. You know what I'm saying? He's comfortable here in Chicago. You know, DeMar already told you what it is. You can come on down, and check it out and see what it is. And also the guys that are the big pieces to the puzzle for the Bulls, outside of Zach, I'm talking about DeMar and I'm talking about Vooch, are veterans. You know what I mean? Like, in their 30s, signed, 2-3 year deals. So it's not like they're, just looking at it realistically, it's not like they're long, to be here for a long haul or something like that. We know Lonzo signed a 4-year deal, but Lonzo's, very young. He's got time. But those two guys just let me know that the Bulls are trying to win now, and is when their contracts are up, I think they'll have a plan in place and be prepared to add somebody like a Karl Anthony Towns to keep this train rolling along.
And you've seen that the scouting has paid off. You've seen how the drafting has worked out, who they like to pluck. It's no longer just we want guys that are try hard and they came from Duke University or whatnot. They're like, no, we want pro athletes. We want pro NBA players who know how to play in the National Basketball Association. Now you got a cat, one of these dudes that is a killer in Zach LaVine that went to the Olympics, became friends with Draymond Green, and is bringing all that back to Chicago. All this starts adding up. And unfortunately, one of the blemishes that I've had of this Bulls run right now is it's without Patrick Williams. So it hurts that you don't see the young man out there. And unfortunately for Kobe White, it was a rough start. And with the illness now with COVID, it's tough for the kid. And he obviously has to hear that he's the piece, that he's good enough. And I always wonder this about athletes, that he's good enough to be wanted, but he's also not good enough for what they think this team is supposed to need. I don't know how a player like him is able to adjust that, but in your opinion, and what you and the boys talk about, where's Kobe White in all this? We know Patrick Williams is going to come back and they're going to find something for him. Kobe, where's he in this whole big picture?
Listen, they need Kobe White. And I know I talk a lot with Bulls fans about it. I put them on a break because I told them at least give me a month and let me see Kobe White get acclimated. And then you can hit me with the trade Kobe talks and all those things like that. But you're going to need Kobe White off the bench because you have no scoring like that off the bench. And Kobe White can score. He gets buckets. It's what he does. We know about the 8 3-point game that he had, man. And he scores. It's not only that he scores in the clutch. Because if you notice, that's really when he gets into it. It's like the fourth quarter. Like in the fourth quarter, he'll start scoring. And that's you need that because you don't have that coming off your bench. You don't really have anybody to create their own shot. Everything is kind of predicated on the movement on the ball, in the offense. But every now and then, stuff is going to break down, and you're just going to need a guy to go get his own shot. And that's why DeMar is so important, and that's why Kobe's going to be so important because Kobe can do that. He can get his own shot, and plus, he's a great catch and shoot guy at the same time. So he's vital, in my opinion, to this team if he's scoring. So I think I just want to give him some time. He didn't play basketball for 6 months because of this injury. All right. He never had a really major injury in his career. And now you're like, okay, you just never played. You didn't have a training camp. You didn't have you didn't do anything. Come on in here and drop me 30. It's like, relax. You know what I'm saying? Let this dude get reacclimated. That's why I was so upset about the COVID. You know what I mean? And because that's really kind of setting him back. I don't know how severe it is for him. I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping it's okay. But it's going to set you back in some kind of way. But, man, I got to give him some time. I just want to see it. And then when I see it, then I'll have a better assessment of it. But one thing I do know, they need scoring, and Kobe White scores. So you're going to need him.
And it's funny because while they need scoring, they just play exciting, close basketball. They play, and it's so entertaining that my wife, who likes sports, but much rather be at the United Center watching the game, is seeing herself watching the game. Falls in love with like Alex Caruso and Zach LaVine because, obviously not just because they're handsome young men, but because they're also entertaining. They kill it and they know how to be showmen. And for the first time in a long time, the Bulls got all of it. They don't just have stars. They have potential superstars and cult favorites. Alex Caruso is about to build a statue in certain neighborhoods in the city of Chicago. So I think there's a lot to love about this Bulls team. And big day from Locked On Bulls, Ball Sports, one of the best guys in the entire city, in the family of our media family. One of the best dudes is joining us for just a few more moments. And I really want to get your thoughts around the league. We love our Bulls. We love Chicago. But let's talk just for a second, the association. First thing is, what's up with the Lakers?
Oh, they're losing. and they don't look good. You know what I mean? It's a problem. But it's funny because knowing that they have LeBron James, you don't, at least for me, I don't put myself in that worry yet. Yeah. I'm just not like, oh my God, the Lakers suck. They're not going to get it together. No, I've watched this dude his whole career. I've watched him suck in the first half, trade an entire team, and then by All-Star break. Seriously, he traded everybody.
Thank you for Lonzo, essentially.
Yeah. Right. You know what I'm saying? And then goes to a championship. Like I watched him do this. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, guys, I don't know why people forget these kind of things. Like he will make those shrewd moves to get better. So yeah, but they don't look good. And something has to change. Doesn't look good for Frank Vogel. You know what I'm saying? Like looking at him. But something definitely has to change, man. It is too much talent on that team for them to barely beat 500. You know what I'm saying? But it's tough, man. They got to get it together because Lakers don't like losing, and they're not used to it, and neither does LeBron. So they got to figure that out.
And it sucks because I love Russell. I love Westbrook.
Yeah,
like, that's one of my guys. I want him to win a title. I want him to get that monkey off his back so that nobody just hounds him for the next 30 years for no good reason. But that'll be wait and see for that. And I guess lastly, in the Eastern Conference, who has, and I guess because you Western Conference, who has piqued you the most? Has it been the Bucks? Has it been Phoenix? Who around the league that is not Bulls centric has kind of been like, that's appointment television for me?
Well, see, I'm biased because I can say in the Eastern Conference it's the Washington Wizards, but that's because I love Daniel Gafford. That's because I want to watch Daniel Gafford.
We almost made it.
You knew that wasn't going to happen. As soon as you went around the association.
I went right into it. Walked right into it. All right. Yeah, Washington. Besides our boy, Gafford goes.
Yeah. But besides them, the Hornets, definitely.
Okay.
The Hornets are really fun to watch. And actually the Cavs, because Darius Garland is really incredible to watch, man. That dude is a point guard. He is awesome to watch play. So I think he's appointment television, honestly. In the West, for me, it's Steph Curry is worth the price of everything, man.
Yeah.
I would pay money to see him, but I'm also a big fan of the Memphis Grizzlies because I love Ja Morant. Because he's one of my favorite players. He's probably my favorite point guard in the league. So he's appointment television for me also. But on the low key, in the Western Conference, I really like watching the Sacramento Kings, man. Like I really enjoyed because I've always been a De'Aaron Fox fan. I like the new rookie guard they have because he's a great defender and things like that. Harrison Barnes, the way he plays, Tyrese Halliburton and what he does. I just like the way they play. And Tristan Thompson, who I think the Bulls should get when the buyouts happen. I just like watching their game. They don't win every game or anything like that. But I just really like how they compete, and I like how they fight, and so I enjoy them.
This has been an absolute pleasure. Big Dave, where can the people, the millions and millions of people, where can they follow you? Where can they support you? Obviously, Locked On Bulls, the boys, you guys do an amazing job over there, have been doing an amazing job forever. All the places, Ball Sports, where can the people find you?
You just said Locked On Bulls with my man Matt Peck. That's a daily podcast. Wherever you listen to podcasts, you can check that out. You can check out Ball or Bow, as we say it. You gotta say it like Avery Johnson is saying it.
Bow.
There you go. Put your Avery Johnson in your throat right there.
There you go. And Avery Johnson mentioned too on this interview. You've gone it all today, Big Dave.
Yeah, check out Ball at Ball on Bulls. Anyway, you listen to podcasts, we're there. Both of those shows, Locked On Bulls and Ball on Bulls, is on YouTube. So check the Ball YouTube channel. Check the Locked On Bulls YouTube channel. You can follow me on Twitter at Ball Sports, Instagram under the same handle. And we just gonna keep talking Bulls and music and wrestling and stuff and see what's happening.
Big Dave, nothing but love. Thank you for joining us. We're so proud of you. Next time we'll talk wrestling when AEW or WWE comes into town. We got to talk about the Tribal Chief. We got to talk about Kenny Omega, CM Punk, all of it. Next time we have him, but hopefully then too we'll be talking about a playoff Bulls team. So Big Dave, you're the man. Thank you, my man.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you, bro.